support me over on Patreon. Thank you so very much for your support. This is the broad spectrum reading for the month of February of 2021 for the sign of Libra. So if you have a sun, moon, or rising in the sign of Libra, you may want to watch this video just to see what kind of February you might be having. If you have heavily placed planets in the sign of Libra, that would be like 3 or more, and that includes the smaller planets too. Then you may want to watch this just to see, because it could have an effect on you. This is a broad spectrum reading, therefore I use broad terms so that it reaches and resonates with the most amount of people that may watch it. If things don't make sense or don't seem relatable, that's completely fine. It doesn't mean anything's broken or wrong or you're doing anything wrong. You just might be working on something different, or could be the houses, could be affecting all of what you're going through, all of that stuff. So there's basically take what you need and leave the rest. What else was I going to say? If you are able to place this reading, like if this reading does fit in your life and it makes sense to you, that's great. Please utilize it. But also know that anything that you do, any decisions that you make in your own personal life are solely your responsibility. So always use your own intelligence and intuition first and foremost. Never take anything that I say over that of a professional in their field. So like a doctor, a lawyer, or a therapist, please always listen to them first and foremost, and your own intuition and intelligence first, okay? This reading is here to sort of help support you and validate you, not necessarily make any decisions for you. All right, so let's get into this and see what my Librans need to know. Oh, wow, okay. My air signs are just having a tough time. Not tough, but like, just feels like you guys, maybe it's this deck. I don't know. I'm using the Spirit Messages deck from John Holland for this because I felt like called to do it this morning. These just feel very tender, these cards. All right, so this word is vulnerability. This is confirmation that you're seeking to tread into the unknown, unfamiliar territory where decisions are based more on intuition than rationality. Don't let fear hold you back or allow a misguided sense that feeling vulnerable is somehow a negative condition. So what I love about this is we have this one leaf growing in this box in the center, right? Where kind of where her heart chakra would be, or her heart would be. And it speaks to me about that green color also associates with the heart chakra. It also associates with growth or new growth. And I love that through being vulnerable, we might learn how to grow new aspects or awarenesses of ourselves that bring about a healing for us. I also love that the word vulnerability is in green here, which kind of indicates that too. When we allow that vulnerability to shine from within ourselves, or maybe make ourselves vulnerable and get more comfortable in that, we allow ourselves to have our light a little bit brighter, or to be seen a little bit more realistically. And I love that too. So that gives me this sort of nice message that there's an opportunity to clear ourselves away from kind of, you see all of this, these sticks or twigs or branches into new growth and into new opportunities that shine a little bit more truly to what my Libras may be feeling or who they really are. And although that might feel like delicate or unnerving, go with it, Libra. Just go with it. That's kind of my feeling there. I think that it's really, really beautiful. And so it'll allow you to sort of shine your own truth, your own, whatever is emanating from your heart, or your own, growth that you experience in the month of February is going to be hopefully profound and beautiful. So let's see what's going on in the tarot for you guys. Let's see here. What does my Libras need to know? Okay. All right, so this center card tells me sort of where the Libras will be centered at for the majority of the month. It gives me insight into not only where you guys are centered at, but also what you could potentially be creating for the future. So let's see what that is. Okay, so this is the Four of Cups. When I look at this, The Four of Cups sometimes indicates boredom. It could indicate choices or trying to make a choice, needing to make a choice. To me, fours are also about creating stability, right? I think of four legs on a table, right? Where it kind of stabilizes everything and keeps things from rocking. When I look at this vulnerability card and then I think about the Four Cups, cups being the element of emotions or the water element, that would also indicate this sort of vulnerability card for my Libras. It's about maybe stabilizing, not stabilizing like we're not supposed to feel, right? But this idea of maybe sitting with our feelings, getting more comfortable with them. The Four of Cups to me feels very like balanced in a way. Like I like this card because this vulnerability card is telling us it's okay, settle into that vulnerability, allow yourself to feel these things. When I think of the four feels like balance, or not balance, that would be more of an eight. It's stable, right? There's more stability to it. So if we're focused on the stability of our emotions and working with that, this is our center. I also love that, remember like this analogy that I was talking about with this green leaf growing here. I love the abundance of this tree with all of these flowers. So to me, there is this in our center. I feel like there is this opportunity for us to bloom, to better understand ourselves through our emotions this month, Libra, through feeling more vulnerable to our feelings, through processing them through our heart and through how we're actually feeling. The true beauty comes forward, right? Our truer understanding of who we are and how we feel. Sharing that with those that we love and care about us is fine. That might be what some of the vulnerability that we're experiencing, but also we might just feel vulnerable to ourselves and our own emotions. That's completely fine. There's this, sorry, my dog is snoring in the background. There's this piece that I feel like with this Four of Cups that I like, right? It just sort of means like we might have to just sit with ourselves this month and be our own kind of not caretaker, but do you know what I mean? Like we have to kind of take care of ourselves and put ourselves first. And I like that. Let's look at the foundation card. Now I use the analogy of I use the analogy of a foundation of a house. This is the card that's from the past that all these cards are built upon today. It can sometimes be the memory of this card that is either driving sort of this reading into the future, or it can be also the memory of this card that's holding everything in place. Like we need to remember that everything's built upon this card. So we have the Eight of Cups. So this indicates that my Libras have left something. And emotionally, you were kind of done. We look at the Siamese cat leaving out of the house, right? He's like on to newer, better things. Some of you may have left relationships in the past, like recently in the past is kind of the feeling that I'm getting, maybe in the last few months, or something has shifted and changed. It could have been a loss of a job. It may have been outside of our control, but generally the Eight of Cups to me indicates us taking action through, not feeling right or feeling sort of done with the situation and having to move forward. The Four of Cups would be about maybe reestablishing or sort of building ourselves back up emotionally. And when I look at that vulnerability card, it speaks to this idea that maybe whatever we've departed from, we're still not fully healed from, or we've not fully come to terms with, and we may still be working on that in the month of February. I like that we're doing that and there's such a focus on this. I also like that we have the eight to me feels like not a conscious choice, but like we made the decision to sort of take ourselves out of whatever the situation may have been in the past, right? And we decided to open that door and walk through it, right? No longer wanting to hurt ourselves or harm ourselves or hurt others or whatever the situation may have entailed. We kind of made the decision to move forward. And so I like that as the driving force for this. Even though it's kind of a sad card, it's not a bad thing to what's the word? Like I sort of want to say it's not a sad thing to do. Wait, hold on. To me, there's a sadness to this card, but it's not a bad thing to do what hurts for the right reasons. Does that make sense? And that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting from these cards, is that we might be going through it emotionally this month, but we're doing it all for a greater purpose, a greater understanding. Some of us may be doing it for ourselves first and foremost, versus having done it for others all the way along and not necessarily getting it. Does that make sense? And so to me, I like the focus being on us this month. Let's go to the Spirit or Soul card. This is your higher self and what it wants you to focus on and what it wants you to look at. So this is the Knave of Wands. So I like this as your higher self card only from the standpoint that it's not only is it wands, which is a complementary element to the air sign that you are, but because air feeds fire and fire burns air, so they're symbiotic. But the knave to me has an optimism, an excitement, an exuberance, right? I also feel like there's newness with knaves. There's abilities to learn with knaves. There's, knaves don't necessarily have all of the answers, but what I love about him is it feels like he wants maybe a higher connection, a higher learning, a better understanding, and it's more about taking action. What is that like bug that's flying all around? He's about taking action and getting excited again, right? And so I feel like he is sort of maybe the antithesis of the sadness that I feel in that Eight of Cups, but that Eight of Cups sadness from the past, I don't feel an indication of sadness in the Four of Cups. I feel this sort of self-care thing happening. And while we're in this self-care focused month, I think that we want to also start to begin what this Knave of Wands is telling us is also as we feel vulnerable, as we care for ourselves, as we go through our emotional state and, maybe inventory whatever we've been through in the past few months, that would indicate in the Eight of Cups. We want to not forget to begin to build new opportunities, new excitement, new desires. And that's what I feel like the Knave of Wands brings to this reading is Spirit's trying to remind you that it's certainly okay to feel your feelings and to express that and get in touch with that. But also in the background, your spirit has got something set up, is my feeling, that will be new and exciting and will give you maybe hope or you'll feel enthusiastic about it. So if it feels a little emotional this month, don't worry, it's not all going to be there's something coming, is the feeling that I get with that Knave of Wands. Okay, let's just leave it at that. And so that might be why you're doing the self-care right now and the feelings and working your way through any untied or undone scenarios or situations or emotions that are going on within you, because that Knave of Wands feels to me like our spirit wants us ready for the next chapter, the next be ready and able and open and available to taking the action to creating what it is that we newly now want as our desire. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So the next two cards are the outside influences. These cards tell me a bit about sort of what's influencing us in the month of February. They can be people, events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us in February, either positively or negatively. So let's see what they are. So one is the sun, which I love this. This is the element of Leo, or the sign of Leo, also the element of fire. Leo would be a fire sign, which is very complementary to you guys as Libras. When I look at this, the sun brings about positivity, energy, optimism. He should be bringing, he would be a very affirmative card. In the sense, there should be a lot of opportunities coming at you guys. And I believe that you should be able to see it. And that's also where I think that Knave of Wands wants us to play a little bit in our desires, wants us to get open to new ideas. Yes, there's vulnerability. Yes, there's emotional stuff from the past. But, that Four of Cups to me feels like, okay, we've gotten to this point, let's balance these emotional energies out and get into what the sun wants to bring us, right? The sun also to me feels like it shines a light on us where it allows us to see ourselves better. We see this light here too, to me it feels like there may be opportunities to better understand ourselves through situations that the sun may bring that will shed light onto who we are, how we feel, and we may feel vulnerable from that even. But ultimately the sun, what it brings to us is sort of life in a way, right? So when these moments may happen in the month of February where it's allowing us to see ourselves in a better light or whatever, we may feel like, oh shit, the spotlight's on us, or maybe people can see how we're feeling, and that might be what makes us feel vulnerable. But ultimately what the sun brings is for our benefit. So keeping that in mind, if there's moments where, we feel like we're being seen too well or given too much or put on display or whatever, the attentions that we're getting, ultimately know that even if they make us feel vulnerable, they don't have to be. They're actually for our betterment. That would be the sun's energy. And then the other card is the Five of Wands. So Five of Wands, this is the card that I call a whole lot of fuckery. I mean, you can see these cats, they're having a moment. Fives are about change. Wands, again, celebratory, right? I mean, not celebratory, but in sync with you guys as air signs. I like that you're surrounded by fire all the way around, except for that Eight of Cups in the bottom, right? So we've got the Sun, which is Leo, which would be fire. We've got the Knave of Wands, which is fire. And then we've got the Five of Wands, which is fire. Now, Five of Wands would indicate fighting, competitiveness, fuckery, basically. But fives to me are always transitional in the sense that it represents change or shifting energies, things that like we can't necessarily control. They're not necessarily working in our favor, but they're moving us, or we're moving through them. I feel like with the Five of Wands, don't be surprised if things go a little bit sideways in certain situations. To me, it never indicates a real heavy bad outcome. And it's certainly with that Sun on the opposite side. To me, I think that you will be carried through whatever these things are. There might be a truer, what's the word? Like, I almost get a feeling like if you do find yourselves in, say, some office competition thing, or, like infighting amongst friends, the Sun would indicate that there's a moment where if you're vulnerable and you speak your truth to all parties involved, you might be able to clear up said issue. Let's say that Five of Wands is fighting amongst your family members. Well, the Sun allows you to sort of come in, be vulnerable to these people and shine what you know to be true and show them a side of yourself that might offer them some clarity. Is it a pain in the ass? Yeah, but it also forces us to no longer put up with them and their hijinks. Does that make sense? So in essence, some of these struggles that we may see or have to deal with, they will be outside of us, right? But they may affect us. They're offering us the opportunity to get more true to who we are and what we want. And that's also the glare or the brightness of the sun that comes through. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Some of you, may have to draw some lines in the sand too with that Eight of Cups in the bottom. It might be that certain, people don't deserve our attention anymore, or they're not kind of, how do I want to say this? Like, they're not where we're at emotionally right now. And so we might have to, step back from them. There could be some of that, and that might be some of the change that we see in that Five. So just be aware of that if that comes up, and it's not the end of the world. Allow yourself to put yourself first this month is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. All right, let's go to the potential outcomes. Potential outcomes is always a card that tells me about where everything's going to end up for the majority of the Libras by the end of the month, but it's not necessarily set in stone. That's why it's potential. We can utilize free will to make choices and changes in our life to affect outcomes. So I always say that this is where things are naturally heading, barring that nothing major changes. If this is a negative card, you can use this card as a warning to make choices and changes in your life to affect the outcome so it doesn't come to pass. If it's a positive card, we can take heart in the fact that we're naturally heading towards it and, allow it to happen. So let's see what this is. So this is the Six of Pentacles. Not a bad card. I like this card. This card's usually about sort of charity, taking care of those that you love, having just enough or whatever it is that you need, and being able to share it. When I look at this doesn't feel like the most impactful outcome for February, but what I like about this is it feels stable to me. It feels balanced. It feels like right in the fact that we're connected to the things that we should be connected to. I feel like the fuckery of the Five of Wands will have fallen away at some point by month's end, and we're surrounded by those that we care about or that understand us and that love us. That's also that Sun's energy. I feel like there's opportunities where we're not only able to appreciate others in the Six of Pentacles, but they're also able to appreciate us, Libra. And that's kind of also the vulnerability that we see here. So when I look at the Six of Pentacles, to me, this feels like a very nice, what's the word? Like, not amicable, but it feels like a nice sort of balanced outcome for the month. The month might start off a little bit emotional or rocky in the sense that this vulnerability card indicates that we might feel a little bit I don't know, on edge or I don't know, nervous, maybe even some anxiety, things like that. And that Eight of Cups underneath indicates like emotions could be like playing around in the background, especially with the Four of Cups in the center. But be true to those things, right? Feel those things and allow yourself to be in that truth. That truth also through experiences this month, that sun will shine light on that truth. And that truth is powerful stuff, I think. That's my feeling as I'm looking at these cards. The Six of Pentacles indicates that you will be appreciated for that. I don't feel like this is like a big, what's the word? Like this isn't a big eventful month in a way, if that makes sense. That's the vibe that I'm getting from these cards. Like the whole sense of all of this is I feel like there's a personal evolution that's happening here. I feel like that Knave of Wands is working on something down the line, is the feeling that I'm getting, that our spirit is kind of putting together in the background. It's weird. I almost want to say like as a reward for the work that we've done in the past. So whatever we walked away from or whatever we dealt with, like I feel like that Eight of Cups was not the easiest of situations for us, but we did the right thing, even though it might have been painful, is the feeling that I'm getting. And so because we did that, and because, you know, we did the right things for the right reasons, it set us on this course of finding out a little bit more about ourselves in some way, shape, or form. And that Knave feels like he's working in the background to kind of set us on a path of new desires, new opportunities. And those are going to be shown to us, I get a feeling, not by the month's end, because the Six of Pentacles is not that payoff. The Six of Pentacles is just like a nice ending to a nice month where we took care of ourselves, we did the right thing. That's the feeling that I'm getting from this, even in the midst of the fuckery of that Five of Wands, right? Like, and I love the depiction of this card because you can really feel the chaos that goes on in the Five of Wands. It's not ever really about us, the Five of Wands. It's about others acting a fool. That's my perception of the Five of Wands, right? It's like they're always clacking those wands around and like trying to impress each other and fighting for dominance, and it's so ridiculous. And this particular version of the Five of Wands, I find, exemplifies that for me. So don't let this get in your way either, because this is not what's important. What's important for you this month is the moments where when the sun shines upon you or the truth comes out, your truth comes out, that's really where you're able to shine the most. And that's going to be where people are able to find this appreciation, and you're able to share what it is that you do have in such a way that it actually benefits not only you, but also others. And I like that. And I feel like that's the stability that we see in that Six of Pentacles. It's not like a big wham, bam, oh my God, mind-blowing month for you guys. But the work that you guys are doing, or the adjustments that are taking place, will have a further impact down the line, is the feeling that I'm getting. I hope that makes sense, you guys. Amanda says Libra here, and I'm going through everything you have said right now. I'm waiting for the peace to come. It's coming, honey. Like the Six of Pentacles is that peace. I mean, if you look at these guys here, they're all sitting there appreciating one another. And Pentacles is always a very grounded, wonderful, rich energy, right? So there is, and they're under this trellis. It's beautiful. You might even find yourself back with friends, not feeling like isolative, that sort of a thing. There's definitely appreciation happening here, and sharing, charity, all of those wonderful things that are in the Six of Pentacles. So there will be a really nice ending to this month, is my feeling, where you feel accomplished and you feel like you're valued and appreciated, not only from those around you, but also from yourself. So, and allow that to take place, because I have a feeling that there's something further coming. That Knave is, it's not that he's up to no good. He's like, you know, while these fools are over here fighting for this stick, this guy's got his own up in your spirit space, right? So if there's any struggles that are going on in your life where you might be jockeying for influence at work or amongst friends or whatever, don't worry. Your spirit's got you. You don't even know it yet, kind of thing. That's the feeling I've got from this. All right. So that is your guys' Libra forecast. Enjoy your month of February. I think that it should be good, and that there are certainly good things coming to you with that Sun card and the outside influence. Again, please, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're watching this later on YouTube, it does need to upload to YouTube after it goes live. But if you're watching it live, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you feel so inclined. You can join me over there every day for the daily forecast. Please share these videos out with your friends. If you have friends that are Libras or that need to see this message, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me to grow my channel, and all that support is super appreciated. So I will see you guys next month. And again, you can always find me every day on the YouTube channel with the daily forecast. You're welcome, Amanda. You have a great day. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.